Later, Ellen, see you never. Good luck with that UK weather. You say that Trump's what since you're packing. We know it's cause your career be lacking. Enjoy your cricket, tea and biscuit. Fuel up and fade out, you stupid dick. Read all about the latest issue. This just in, nobody will miss you.
MC Gene, our Arkansas Eminem.
What happens when Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly...
Ellen's daytime reign was one sunshine, sneakers, and dance breaks. She floated across TV screens like a cross between a fairy godmother and a motivational quote. Her brand was kindness. Her tools, awkward celebrity interviews, sponsor plugs, and heartwarming giveaways.
Ellen is a nasty person, and all these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that.
But behind the forced giggles and confetti cannons, something darker festered. This wasn't harmless discomfort, it was a pressure cooker. Smiles were polished but empty. Applause rehearsed to perfection. And the entire show ran with the cold efficiency of a military drill minus the warmth.
Heat as more employees, past and present from her show, say that they were working in a toxic environment. Some Hollywood actors also speaking out against the talk show host now. Let's bring in Carly Shimkus of Fox News Headlines 24/7. Carly, good morning. Great to see you. So what more are we hearing on this story?
Yeah, so things are really spiraling here, and it's sort of two situations unfolding at once. One of them has to do with a mountain of complaints against the show's executive producers. Some 47 past and current employees have complained to BuzzFeed News. Allegations ranging from a toxic work environment, bullying, now even...
The Ellen Show was less a production and more a performance-sparked tap dance. Part group therapy with the sole purpose of creating a false sense of ease. What viewers saw was joy, what staff felt was suffocating control, spontaneity forbidden, authenticity scripted, human connection regulated like a security protocol.
She laughed while she badgered her staff. And so all good things must end, and also the Ellen DeGeneres show. Yes, the 83-year-old entertainer just announced that the upcoming 19th season of her show will be its last. Apparently, she created a workplace more toxic than an Amazon warehouse in Chernobyl. Countless allegations surfaced last summer that the show's work environment was rife with harassment and discrimination. Following those charges, Ellen's ratings dropped faster than Kevin Spacey's pants at a boy band pool party.
Every smile, every sob story, every gift-trapped giveaway, it was all manufactured. Not from generosity, but for brand strategy. The set a pastel illusion, the crew, replaceable. The whole operation, a kindness-themed machine churning out mass-produced feel-good moments, but eventually, the glitter couldn't cover the cracks. And when it all started to fall apart, Megyn Kelly didn't bring a mop, she brought stilettos and a scalpel. Kelly didn't tiptoe in. She strutted into the scandal with poise, receipts, and a laser focus. She wasn't there to soften the blow, she came to dismantle the empire. Ellen, to her, wasn't just a host with a PR problem, she was the personification of Hollywood's hypocrisy, a mascot of moral posturing wrapped in pastel packaging. And Megyn wasn't whispering, she was detonating.
This is not a nice person. So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got a Netflix special. That's the right response.
Yeah.
She's got a Netflix special. And here's the capper. On the promo, and apparently there's now articles out about from people who have seen the preview, she plays the victim. And she says, poor me. And she actually has the nerve to say that she was run out of...
Ellen had become the perfectly packaged product of virtue. She didn't just perform niceness, mass-produced it complete with a smiley label and a commercial jingle. But beneath the giveaways and twirls was an operation so fake it made plastic look authentic. Her empire wasn't just built on talent, it was built on compliance. From staff to press to audiences trained to clap on cue, everything ran on silent submission. Behind the glossy set was a fortress of control where eye contact was a crime, and spontaneity a threat, and still, the media, those supposed seekers of truth, acted like starstruck extras in her sitcom. Megyn didn't need secret files or leaked documents. The dysfunction was in plain sight. Former staff didn't speak of the exhaled years of exhaustion. These weren't isolated stories, they were everywhere, but the press ignored it. Ellen was too valuable, too beloved, too bankable, so instead of accountability, we got puppies, cupcakes, and more staged celebrity selfies.
Ellen got canceled for real a few years ago from just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a single comment she said or something she did, just lots of people saying that working for her was a living nightmare and that she's a jerk. And I think that's probably why she wants to leave, because she hasn't really been able to make a comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, remember how everybody loved Ellen? They're like, Ellen, we love you, Ellen's here, yay! And then that all went away. So she probably has been thinking of a reason to leave, and now she thinks that this is the reason to try to make it look like some sort of, look how afraid I am, I feel how you feel because I'm, you know, of Trump.
Yeah, it was just the excuse. She is, Emily, I watched her comedy special. It was like a huge pity party. It was about how she was lamenting how her reputation has suffered. She's essentially as popular as a pit bull with this on Trump. Do you think that she's going to be, just everybody's going to love her in England?
Especially the jihadis who love the lesbians so much. They're going to love her there. I think she's fleeing for way more than her anger over Trump.
If Trump is truly responsible for Ellen's exodus, shouldn't that go down as his greatest achievement in the last 8? I mean, he should get the Nobel Prize.
He's literally going to have a who's who of left. I mean, the entire 80s music catalog is gone. You got Springsteen, Cher, Madonna. I just don't know why they keep showing pictures of Aaron Rodgers with blonde hair.
What Megyn Kelly saw wasn't just hypocrisy, it was a culture that embraced, promoted, and syndicated it. Hollywood didn't simply protect Ellen, it relied on her. She was their proof that the industry could still pretend to be pure, playful, and polished. But behind the glitter curtain was no fairy tale, it was command, not compassion. And when that glitter finally flaked away, the only surprise was how long it took for anyone to admit it was just dust. Megyn, no stranger to the sausage making of media, yanked the curtain wide open. To her, Ellen's empire didn't resemble Oprah hit. Looked like the opening act of a Disney villain origin story. Megyn broke down the Timel and Eth rise, the fake apologies, the ratings nosed via karmic script if ever there was one, while the world clapped along with Ellen's dancing. Megyn heard the whispers in the wings. Former staffers quietly shared stories of fear and micromanagement, while the media kept buffing Ellen's halo with spin so thick it should have come with a warning label. Kindness wasn't a virtue, it was a brand, and in Hollywood, brands are bulletproof until they're not. But Megyn didn't just drop a soundbite and leave, she conducted an autopsy. How did someone this wholesome manage to dodge accountability for so long? Why did whispers stay whispers until Twitter screamed them out loud? Her favorite part, the double standard served cold.
Perfect for you. Because I'm seeing this week that there is an attempted comeback by somebody who did not cross one of those fateful lines of the misstepping on their sacred cows of gender or race or sexuality. Yeah. But she was said to be a nasty biatch, and that's Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah. So her show got canceled after she had this testy exchange with Dakota Johnson, where something happened where Dakota said, oh, I had this birthday party, and Ellen said, well, why didn't you invite me? You didn't invite me. And she said, like, no, I did invite you, Ellen. That's not what happened. And Ellen had blown her off. And then tried to play the victim.
When a conservative slips, even slightly, the media pounces like pigeons on free popcorn. But Ellen, she got the spa package, fluffy headlines, soft focus sympathy arcs. And suddenly she was the misunderstood victim. Cute, Megyn wasn't buying. And she made sure no one else did either then. Just when Ellen's media shield was looking like worn out stage makeup, in stomped Greg Gutfeld, Hollywood's sarcastic wrecking ball. While Megyn sliced with a scalpel, Greg arrived with a jackhammer, a laugh track, and zero patience. First move, rip off the Saint label and replace it with a big sticker sponsored by Hollywood Delusion. Greg saw right through the sparkle. To him, Ellen wasn't a fallen angel, she was the latest woke mascot to fall face first off her own pedestal. He started where he always does, mockery with a message. Her teary apology tour. Greg didn't just call it theatrical, he said it deserved an Oscar. It was Ellen's most uncomfortable comedy sketch ever, not for lack of effort, but because no amount of publicist-written sincerity sounds real under a studio spotlight. He laughed hardest at the idea that Ellen had just discovered the toxic environment under her name, like she tripped and accidentally ran a fear-fueled workplace. Greg framed it perfectly. In Hollywood, redemption stories are sold like chewing gum, but when the one selling it also wrote the script, that's not growth. That's PR yoga.
In the hell of Trump. We're out of here. By the way, Walter.
I think we could let the illegal aliens stay if we get enough of Hollywood to self-deport.
Yes. I will take 1,000.
You know, Exactly.
I'll take 1,000 Venezuelan migrants for one share.
Exactly. If you can get one Hollywood star to leave, you get to stay. Otherwise, it's out.
You know what, though, it's funny? I just want to bring this up to you. You can comment or not.
Yeah.
So she left a celebrity base to go to London, and she's already ensconced with other celebrities. So she's basically still in the same bubble.
She's not going back to London. She's going to Oxfordshire. And as the only person on this set who attended Oxford University.
No, way to drop that
It's
in.
true. I can tell you that there is nothing high British Oxford society loves more than a failed and despised.
Then Greg turned his fire on Ellen's obsession with celebrity culture at name drops. The royal cameos, the billionaire BFFs, it wasn't just Kringate was off-brand. You can't sell humility with a Gucci megaphone. He torched her relatable act. To Ellen wasn't your quirky friend, she was a syndicated illusion, airbrushed 5 days a week. But Greg wasn't done. He aimed at the entire ecosystem that let her thrive. Fans trained to clap like seals, staff treated like set decorations, and a media to drunk on her charm. To call out the cracks, Greg didn't just expose Ellen, he took a sledgehammer to the fantasy factory. That made her. Her apology, designer sneakers, stage tears, and a "I'm still learning" monologue that Greg said sounded like the failed pilot of a Netflix drama. Learning what exactly? How to dodge blame in 6-inch heels? Greg's conclusion: Ellen didn't fall. She tripped over her own brand while trust falling into a pile of unpaid interns.
Home of Matt Lauer. That the bad press actually had nothing to do with her decision. Right, and the Titanic didn't hit an iceberg. It chose to sink.
If it was why I was quitting, I would have not come back this year. I really did think about not coming back because it did, it was devastating. I am a kind person. I am a person who likes to make people happy.
No, the real reason, she says, is it was just too easy. Telling the Hollywood Reporter, quote, "When you're a creative person, you constantly need to be challenged. And as great as this show is, and as fun as it is, it's just not a challenge anymore." Well, if that's true, here's an idea. When your viewership is down 43%, why not consider that the challenge?
Meanwhile, Megyn zoomed in on the aftermath. Sponsors bailed, fans paused, and ratings dropped harder than a politician on a polygraph. She wasn't shocked. She saw the crash coming from miles away. But what fascinated her wasn't the scandal. It was the silence before it, the years of choreographed interviews, softball questions, and media fluff. Ellen didn't just fool the audience, she trained them. Kindness wasn't a virtue anymore, it was a costume, and when that costume slipped, what was underneath wasn't quirky, it was corporate. Megyn spotlighted the real issue. Ellen's story wasn't just a fall from grace, it was a cultural shift. The public was done with fake smiles and manufactured morality. They wanted real. And Ellen's version of authenticity was the most artificial thing on TV. The entertainment world had become an echo chamber. Ellen praised by Ellen's friends, interviewed by Ellen's proteges, defended by Ellen's PR squad. It was a Studio City snow globe, pretty on the outside, fake on the inside. Then Greg returned for the final roast.
Terrorist bails for the UK. All right. I'm going to go to you first, Kat, because this is I think you understand this story. So Ellen and her wife, Portia, have left their millionaire haven of Montecito for England. Now, they're saying they'll never come back in the wake of Trump's win. Do you think that's the reason why she's leaving?
Absolutely.
He zoomed out and framed Ellen not as a TV host gone rogue, but as a symbol, a cautionary tale of celebrity culture gone plastic. She became a case study in performative goodness and selective account ability. Greg compared her empire to a sitcom that forgot it wasn't real. Every line scripted, every laugh cued, every time Ellen hit the stage, she stepped into a version of herself that hadn't been real for years. And then, the final nail, Gutfeld's signature roast. He said Ellen didn't build a talk show, she built a theme park of self-righteousness. And when it all collapsed, what remained was the echo of canned applause and the smell of expired vegan snacks together. Megyn and Greg didn't just expose Ellen, they dismantled her mythology. Not with outrage, but with surgical sarcasm. They peeled back every layer of Hollywood's self-delusion. No redemption arc, no piano-backed monologue, no comeback special. This wasn't daytime television, it was reality stripped bare. Ellen wasn't canceled, she was revealed, and when the illusion broke, not even her sneakers could outrun the truth. Megyn spotted the architecture of the lie. Greg spray-painted graffiti all over the facade, and together, They created a masterclass in media deconstruction, not revenge, not personal, just truth. Lit up on the biggest stage in America, it didn't gasp, it nodded slowly, the kind of nod that comes when the mask finally slips and everyone says, "So there it is." The final episode, written by Karma, directed by Reality, and starring Ellen dancing herself off the stage.